name is Brian VANDUYN. Figured I'd do a live stream and give you guys a good start to your day. And for those of you that want to start a business, one of the things that is very, very, very important is if you're running a business, you have to be an optimistic person. But you got to be real at the same time, but you got to be optimistic. You know, basically what I'm trying to say is there are things that are going to go wrong, but you have to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. But always be optimistic. If you're negative when you're trying to run a business, it'll burn you out. And not only will it burn you out, but everybody else will see how stressed out you are, you know? So you just gotta hope for the best sometimes, you know? Like, when I bought this dump truck, it was literally garbage. I mean, it basically was a piece of scrap metal. $8,000 dump truck, I mean, that's what it was. And I was optimistic, you know, that I could make it happen. And it happened, you know. So I just wanted to, you know, tell you guys, be optimistic, man. You guys got to be more optimistic. That's one of the things I see all the time in the dump truck world. Everybody's always so grumpy and negative. If you don't like your job, dude, find a different job. I mean, if you don't like dump trucking, go find something you like to do. You know, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. You got to find something you like to do. Yeah, I'm out burning diesel. I'm turning money into sound. What are you guys doing? I've been on this job. It's a good gig. I got this job. Basically, I pulled some stumps out, and then they wanted their yard. They wanted it just kind of smoothed out, and then their family member decided, hey, I want the dirt, just pay him to level it, you know. And so I'm now getting rid of all that dirt and taking it over to their place. And then once I finish taking all the dirt out, smoothing it out, then I go over to their place and then smooth it out over there. You know, so win-win. You know, that's when you're in excavation, that's what you want to do. You want to get paid to move the dirt, the same dirt twice. I mean, if you can get paid to move it twice, you're on point. I mean, that's where you want to be. Let's see where we're at here. 150 tons. That's a lot of. You guys haul those like triple trailers or something, or the trains, or what? What? Yeah, getting rid of freight. I know how that goes. I used to deliver roofing all the time, and you know, when you're just doing like yard transfers and stuff, sometimes the forklift guys are busy. So it's like, okay, there's a spare forklift, I'm hopping on it. I'm gonna get out of here. I've been posting these pictures on my Instagram of, you know, throughout my day I take a cool picture and I post it on my Instagram. If you guys haven't checked out that Instagram, check it out. I mean, I got some cool pictures of the dump truck and the equipment and everything. I got a lot of cool stuff. And then also I've been, you know, every time I post a picture, I'm gonna try and put a good, like a cool quote in there, you know, like, you know, the best way to predict your future is to build it, you know? Something like that, you know? Hi, honey. Say hi to the kids for me. That's the first time she signed on in the live stream. Must be doing something right. Or she's checking up on me. Checking to see if I'm really at work. I might be in trouble. Maybe that's what it is. Am I in trouble, honey? They're gonna finally do some patchwork there. Nice. That'd be nice. A nice setup to have. A skid steer with the grinding attachment to grind, you know, asphalt. Oh man, that would be a sweet setup right there. Hashtag on your Insta posts? What do you mean by that, Dennis? I don't really know what that is. Like the hashtag thing? I don't, like, why would I put the hashtag thing? I don't understand. I could probably start doing it, but I don't know, like, how does it benefit you if I do it? Does it help you, like, find my content easier or something, or? I mean, I have a Twitter account, but I never use it. Like, I don't know, it's just, I got so many, like, I got my YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, that's 3 social platforms right there, and I feel like I'm on those, like, all the time. I can't add one more to the mix, you know, it's just, that's why I don't do anything on Twitter. I have one, but I just don't really, I don't know. If there was more of a draw, like if people were like, hey man, you need to get a Twitter or something, you know, then I'd probably do it more. I'm a redneck, man. So the hashtag thing, I don't really understand it yet. Like, I don't really know how it benefits people. Like if they search for something or something, I don't know. But yesterday I was at the gas station filling up my pickup, and one of the guys, like I was just filling up my pickup, right? And he came up to me and he's like, man, you're the, you know? And I'm like, what? He's like, you're the, and I'm like, I kind of looked at him like, is that a compliment or are you saying you know? And he's like, you're the dump truck guy, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, I like your videos. And I was like, oh, sweet, man. I gave him 2 stickers, you know. That's cool when you guys come up to me and, you know, tell me that you watch my videos and stuff. You know, make me feel good about myself. Like, I'm actually helping people, you know. That's one of the perks of YouTube, you know. You get to help everybody out, you know, that's looking for advice. That's like, you know. I mean, yeah, I make a little money off of it, but it ain't nothing compared to when somebody says, hey man, your video really helped me out, you know. That right there is far more worth it than, you know, the $100 I make a month or whatever I make a month off YouTube. You know, that just pays for the camera equipment, basically. It doesn't really pay for nothing. But let's catch up on these comments. It makes it easier to find content in all categories. Okay, so should I put like hashtag dump truck or something? Like I can go back and edit all of them and say like hashtag dump truck business or hashtag Brian VANDUYN. Like would that help? Or like explain it to me a little more. So it makes it easier. So it's like tagging like a specific subject. Is that what it's doing? So like if I type in hashtag dump truck, then like people that have the dump truck pictures and stuff, then it'll pop up. Is that how that works? Because if that's the case, then I'll definitely be willing to do that. I mean, it won't take very long to go back and add some hashtags to all my posts. I've never looked anything up that way, so that's why I don't know. It's like techie. What's techie? Tagging. Oh, tagging. It's like tagging. Okay. Guessing that's what you meant to say. So far, I've hauled 4 loads out of this job site, and I'm estimating a total of around 7. But now that I'm kind of dwindling the pile down, there might be a total of 9, maybe 9 piles, 9 loads of dirt coming out of this site. So I mean, that's a lot of dirt. That is a lot of dirt, guys. When I went to start my business, I was not really, like, I enjoyed driving tanker trucks, but I wasn't really happy because of the fact that it took up so much of my time that I wasn't able to spend enough time with my family. Like, there was no work-life balance. Like, my life was all work, basically. You know, and when I got off work, I was so tired that I had to rest, you know. I had to recuperate. And, you know, when you're recuperating, you're lazy, you know. You don't want to do anything. And I was reading the Dave Ramsey book, and he was always saying, you know, if you don't like your job, change it, you know. And a lot of people get into this rut where they're thinking, you know, oh, I gotta keep working this daily job. Like, you know, I don't have what it takes to run a business, and I don't think I just don't know if I can make a business happen. I don't, you know, and I don't have the money to make it happen, and this and that, and, you know, there's so many reasons so many roadblocks you put in front of yourself to not start a business or to not run a business, you know, but you want to deep down, but you're just like, I don't know, you know, you don't really have the courage yet, you know, you're trying to build up the courage to do it. And I got to the point where I was like, I've had it, I'm done with this, I'm tired of working for somebody. You know, and for me, it wasn't, I want to start a business. It was, I'm sick and tired of working for people. That's where I was. You know, it wasn't like I was motivated to start something for me. It was, I'm tired of working for somebody, you know. That's kind of where my mind was. So I developed a plan. You know, I sat down with my wife and I said, honey, we need to start our own business. You know, because I don't like working for other people. We're hardly getting anywhere in life. Like, we save a lot of money, right? So we were saving, you know, probably $500 to $1,000 a month into a savings account. And so we were saving money, but it didn't seem like we were getting anywhere. You know, it didn't really seem like we were making a lot of progress. You know, not enough to be like, hey, we're making progress, you know. It was like a little, you know. And I was like, you know what, let's make a plan. Let's set some goals, let's write them down, and we'll just try and make these goals happen. And they were realistic goals, right? At first, I was like, you know what? I'm going to save up for 5 years. We'll buy a dump truck and we'll start our business. And I was telling all my friends now, I'm like, I'm going to save up for 5 years, buy a dump truck and start my business. And then one of my good friends, Robert, I was telling him the plan. He's like, you know what, dude? You're so handy, dude. Why don't you just buy a broken dump truck and fix it up, you know, as you go? Instead of just saving up a whole bunch of money and buying something, why don't you buy, you know, something that needs work and buy it a lot cheaper and just fix it up? And I took his advice, and that was the best advice he could have gave me, because that's the type of person I am. You know, I'll buy something that nobody wants. You know, I'll buy somebody else's problem, basically. What's up, Blake? I'll buy somebody else's problem, and I'll work on it until it's where I want it to be. You know, and he knows that. I mean, I don't know how many pickups I bought that were junk, and I just kept working on them until they were, you know, decent. And so he gave me some solid advice. And, you know, I bought the piece of junk dump truck, and then I started working on it, and then next thing you know, it's ready, like, way before schedule. Like, I was planning 5 years. That was my goal. When I first got the idea in my head, I told my wife, when we sat down, we wrote it down, 5 years is our game plan. I don't want to be working for somebody in 5 years. That was my goal. Dude, we slashed that goal in like almost a fourth, you know? We bought the dump truck, I started working on it, I started kicking butt, you know, and here's some other advice that one of my other neighbors gave me. He has this hot rod, right? It's a Dodge Dart. The thing is cherry. I mean, that thing is so cool. Like, and he does the best work. And his advice was, do something every single day. That wasn't his advice for my dump truck. I was building a 1945 Dodge pickup that I have. It's a project truck that I have. And his advice was, you know, if you want a super cool car, or you want a hot rod, or you want a race truck, or whatever, do something every single day. Even if it's something small, you know. Just do something every single day. And I took that advice, and I applied it to my dump truck, right? Every single day I did something. Even if it was just going out and sitting in the dump truck and dreaming. That's important, you know? Dreaming, you know? Just sit back and imagining, you know? Where can this take me? And, yeah, those guys checking out my dump truck. They love that Detroit. And so every single day I would just do something. Just something. Just even if it's just taking off an airline, you know, just something small. And you know, finally I got to the point where, you know, the dump truck was so close to being ready to get on the road that I had started, you know, to be more like, I knew in my head, and I knew it so bad that even everybody around me was like, Brian's gonna start his own business. He's gonna be doing this any minute. Like, everybody knew it, like, because that's all I talked about. I'm so passionate about it. Like, everybody knew, you know. And, you know, my boss, I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'd say he fired me because he knew I was ready, you know. He fired me because he knew I was ready to start my own business. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna give this guy the boot he needs. You know, and I had worked for him for a little over a year, which in my track record, that's really good. Normally my track record for working for a company was a year solid. And then I would get fed up with, you know, the management or the co-workers, or, you know, I have a problem with authority sometimes, you know, like people that, a lot of times there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, and that gets on my nerves. You know, when you got 20 people trying to tell you what to do, you know, because everybody's in charge, you know, I just want to be able to just do my job and go home, you know. That's the way I wanted it, but it never worked out like that, you know. So I got fed up with it, and I gotta go over to this spot. I got stuck here yesterday, so I'm kind of, you know, I got this in my head. I got stuck the other day, so I gotta figure out how to get back there as far as I can, because I got a few more loads coming in here. I don't want to block myself, you know, and do a short dump. And I also don't want to get back too far or, you know, start spinning, because then I'll get stuck. And I had to call my buddy to pull me out yesterday. It was so embarrassing. And I wasn't even stuck, you know? The axles weren't buried or nothing. I was just barely stuck. Okay, let's spread this bad boy up. Heck yeah! Okay. You can't see it. Anyways, when you're dumping a dump truck, always feel if you're on level ground. Just feel it. Keep your hand on the lever, just in case one side sinks, you can slam it down. Yeah, that's a good clean dump right there. Out with the bang. Yeehaw! Okay. What box do I have? I'll just take you guys out for a quick little walk around. I always like to just walk around after anyways, just to check, make sure I don't have any dirt on it. This is the box I got. Make sure I don't got any dirt on there anywhere. Make sure the gate locks are closed. That's my old girl right there. Oh. So let me just show you guys real quick. So this is where I got stuck the other day, guys. And you can see it wasn't even really stuck. I mean, I just couldn't get out of this hump, right? And so the front of the dump truck, you can see the steer tires were right there. I hooked up two of these toe straps that I got. And then my buddy came with his F350 and sat on the road. We put the two straps out and hooked a 20-foot chain up, and it just bloop, he just pulled me out. It was nothing, right? We had this other guy over here with his F350. He was trying to pull me out right here, but he couldn't get any traction with this dually. He didn't have any weight in the bed, and I was trying to get him to park on the road, but he was like, I don't want to tear anything up on my pickup truck. And, you know, I didn't want to pressure the guy because it's not my truck, you know. So, but when my buddy was here, he's like, man, that guy. Never mind, I'm not even going to say it. But, you know, he just pulled me out. I mean, it didn't take nothing. He just pulled me right out. And so that was my buddy Josh at Ridgeline. I do a lot of work with this guy, right? So he was sitting at home. He was sitting at home. And so let me give you a little backdrop on the story. He called me earlier that day and was like, hey man, I bought those same LED headlights you got. They don't work. They're not lighting up. Like, is there like some secret or something? And I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you gotta do. And I told him, I was like, you gotta pull the pins out because the LED light, it's a one-way directional current, right? So the positive has to be hooked to the positive and the negative has to be hooked to the negative. they're not interchangeable like a regular incandescent light bulb. You know, because a regular light bulb, you can switch the polarity and it'll still light up. LEDs are one way, right? And I told them, and I'm like, you just take them out, take the pins out, swap them around, so the plug plugs in with the right wires in the right direction or whatever. And he's like, okay. He did that. Of course, it worked. And then later that day, I said, hey, man, I'm stuck. And, you know, I got two nice toe straps. I'll just show you the toe straps real quick while I'm waiting for this traffic to... These toe straps right here. Gear America 4-inch toe strap. It's rated for 45,000 pounds. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon. 20, 30 bucks. Dude, they are so worth it. I'm gonna put the link in the description. I got two of them and I had them hooked together. And I said, hey man, I got these two straps hooked together. You mind coming and pulling me out? And he's like 30, 40 minutes away. And he's like, oh, hell yeah, man, I'll be right over. Let me throw some chains in my truck. Boom. Now, why was he so willing to help me out? Because I've helped him out multiple times. This industry is so small and it's a tight niche family, dude. We are all family, you know, and if you get stuck, they'll help you out. If they get stuck, you help them out. And don't ever keep tally. Just make sure when somebody needs help, you help them. That's the end of the story right there. You help them out. Don't break your stuff helping somebody, but I mean, give it a shot. You know, that's what I always say. You know, at least give it a try. And so, you know, it was his birthday a few days ago. I've done a lot of revenue through this guy. So I bought him a birthday present, you know, because it was his birthday a few days ago. I bought him this nice Benchmade pocket knife. Pocket knives are the best gifts for guys, right? You don't even have to think about it. Just give him a pocket knife, you know? Pocket knives are... Every dude wants a pocket knife. So I got him a nice, sweet pocket knife, Benchmade. It's an expensive pocket knife, but I've done a lot of business through him, so, you know, and he liked it. He's like, oh, this is sweet, you know? And, you gotta keep those contacts. The guys that help you out and you help them out, just keep building that relationship, man, because one day you're gonna get stuck and you're like, hey, man, can you come pull me out? Or can you do this, you know? And if you made the right friendships, then it'll work out for you, you know? But, oh yeah, so back to my story. So I fixed up my dump truck, you know, little by little, got it on the road, and, you know, just because every single day I did something, you know, I was always optimistic. There was a time, though, when I was in the process of fixing my dump truck. There was a time when I was building my dump truck that I got really depressed. Like, the guy that was supposed to fix the frame was putting me off and putting me off and putting me off. So I couldn't get the frame fixed. The ram was bad. It was leaking everywhere. And I was depressed also because the batteries were dead on the truck. And like I couldn't even hear it run, you know. And I bought this battery charger that had like, you know, it's a heavy duty battery charger, but it's like a car heavy duty battery charger, you know, like for cars and pickup trucks, not for semis, obviously. And I thought it was going to be enough for semis, you know, and I paid like 200 bucks for this thing. So I thought it was going to have the juice to, you know, start this dump truck. Come on, man. And, slow down. And I thought it was gonna have the juice to start this dump truck, and it didn't, man. It just would not, like it would get enough to turn it over, but just slow. It's like, you know, it just wasn't enough to start it. And I got depressed, man. I really did. I was like, man, I can't get the frame fixed. Now the thing won't even start. And then finally I had saved up enough money to go buy some decent batteries. And you guys can go back and watch this video in the playlist. And I finally started the dump truck, and it was like 2 months or 3 months or something like that I hadn't even heard the dump truck run. So I was getting depressed about it, you know. And you know, my wife was like, honey, don't worry about it, it's just the batteries, you know. And you know, she was optimistic about it, and that optimism brought me back and pushed me through that, you know, that stage of, you know, small amount of depression, you know, where I was worried about it not even starting. And I see your comment, Dennis. I'll get to that in just a second. And just to hear the sound of the dump truck, that, I mean, like, if you go back and watch that video, like, my eyes like light up, like when I heard the dump truck sound. I'm like, yes, finally, something good, you know. And that's because every single day I did something. So now to answer Dennis's question, let's see, what was it? What got into excavating in the first place? Okay, Dennis. Well, I bought my dump truck, right? I started my dump truck business. The first 6-7 months were amazing. Couldn't have been better. I worked every single day, and sometimes night shift. Like, I worked so many hours, and I worked my tail off. And then it was, let's see, November or October, right? And the work started to die off. Now, I'm a very frugal person, so I had saved all the money that I earned, and it was all sitting in the bank. I didn't spend nothing. It was all saved. And then the work died off, and I'm like, you know what? I sat at home for like 2 weeks straight and did nothing. And I'm like, you know what? This ain't happening. You know, I gotta find something to stay busy, or I'm gonna get lazy. And so I was thinking to myself, okay, the best way I find work for my dump truck is I call other people with equipment, and that's how I get my work. So I'm thinking, okay, I got a dump truck, why not buy a machine, right? And so I also, at this point, I had some property in Shelton that's, you know, it's all forest and it's got to be cleared eventually, you know, so I can build my house out there. That's kind of my long-term goals, my dreams, you know. And so I'm like, you know what? Well, okay, so that's what got me started to thinking I needed to buy some machinery. The first thing I bought was a backhoe. It was a Case 530 backhoe. And that backhoe, like, okay, so I knew the history of it. I used to work at this place, and the lady bought it to build her shop. They used it for like maybe a month straight, maybe 2 months straight, and then it just sat and did nothing for 5 years. It just sat, did nothing. And she told my grandpa, she's like, hey, if you want to buy this backhoe, I'm gonna sell it, you know, give you a deal on it, so I don't have to pay to have it hauled to an auction. And he's like, okay, I don't have the money, but maybe my grandson, he's got his dump truck, you know, maybe he'll buy it. And you know, the backhoe's probably worth 7 grand-ish. She's thinking it's worth 7 to 10, right? And it probably was. But at that point, I had all this money saved up, but I was like set on saving it. I'm gonna save it because we need an emergency fund for the business. Since I don't use credit, I gotta have some money saved up. You know, for in case the motor blows or the tranny blows or the differential or something, you know. So I saved up a whole bunch of money. My grandpa's like, man, if you don't buy the thing, I'm gonna buy it. And I said, Grandpa, I don't really want it right now, but if you're not gonna, you know, if you're gonna buy it, I'll buy it, you know, so you don't have to buy it. I know we can use it, but I didn't really want to spend the money on it. But, you know, if you're gonna use your money to buy it, I might as well just buy it, you know. My grandpa already has a backhoe. He's, you know, in his 70s. He's like, you don't need a backhoe, Grandpa. You already got one, and you don't even hardly use it. So, but he's like, I'm gonna buy it if you don't buy it, because he knew it was a good deal, right? And I said, Grandpa, tell you what, tell her I'll pay $3,500 cash. And he said, well, I don't think she's gonna take that, but I'll tell her what you said. And so he goes back and he tells her, and she's like, no, I'm not interested in selling it for that. It's worth more than that. I said, okay, well, you know, I said, if she doesn't want to take it for that, then just tell her, well, if she wants to sell it, I'll buy it for that. $3,500, I think that's what I bought it for. Yeah, $3,500. And then, like a month later, she was like, okay, you can have it for $3,500, you know. And I'm like, okay, that's a good deal. I'll pay for that, you know, $3,500. That ain't gonna hurt my money that I got in my bank, and it's a backhoe, you know, so it'll make something. And so I ended up buying it, and that's when I learned that the backhoes are really not good for anything. Like, I tried to clear some property, and you know, they're the jack of all trades, you know, master of none, you know. And they just kept getting stuck, and it was two-wheel drive. And so I kind of was like, okay, everybody has excavators. Nobody has backhoes anymore, you know. And there's got to be a reason for that, you know. And so, and my buddy was like, why'd you buy that backhoe? You're so stupid, dude. You should have took that money and bought a Mini, you know. He's like, I'd buy a 30. That's what I would buy. I'd buy a 30, you know, it's 30 size, you know. That thing, you can go 13 feet deep, you know, you can move stuff, you can do this and that. It's so much more stable. You ain't gonna get stuck as much, you know. And if you get one with the blade, that's a plus, you know. And then so I'm thinking, okay. And then for some reason I got this wild hair, and I'm like, you know what, I want to buy a dozer, a bulldozer. Like, that would be the perfect thing to buy for me. And I'm like, because here's why. Like, I'm taking all this dirt to all these places, right, and just dumping dirt in their yard. Like, they have no way of spreading it out. So I can advertise to every single homeowner that I go to and say, hey, I got a dozer, I can push that pile out for you. Or I can go to the guy that's sending me all the work, and I say, hey man, all your dump sites, I'll push them out for you, you know, if you want. You know, I'll bring my dozer and I'll push them out. And so I thought, you know, that'd be a perfect idea. And then, so I was stuck on buying a dozer, you know, because of the pushing power of a dozer. You know, they're just so cool. And, you know, so I started looking on Craigslist, and I ended up finding, you know, kind of a very, very old dozer, and it was just a pile of junk. I mean, the thing was like from the 50s, and, you know, thank God I had my buddy go with me, and he's like, you don't want to spend $10,000 on this, man. It's just a yard ornament, you know. it's an expensive yard ornament if it breaks, you know. Like you might be able to make the 10,000 back on it, but that's about it, you know, before something's gonna break on it, or you know, before it wears out. And it was just smoking, and it was burning oil, and it, basically like everything else I own. And so I'm like, okay, I took his advice and I said, okay, this is a little too old for what I want. And then I found one up north, and it was way cheaper. And I went and looked at it, and it was like 3 times better condition. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this one. Bought it, took it down to my property, because there wasn't really, I started doing driveways and stuff, and it was working out good. I was making a little more money. It paid for itself easily. Even because, you know, even though I don't do a lot of driveways, but each driveway is like $1,500, and the dozer was 10,000, you know, so, or no, 8,000. I paid 8,000 for it. Because I talked them down, because I seen that big old crack on the side of it. I'm like, man, I ain't paying 10 grand for this with this big crack. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 8 cash. And then they took it, because I had the cash. And, so it paid for itself real quick. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to take this down to the property. And that's when I realized the difference tracks make over tires. You know, because like the backhoe, it could push trees over, you know, decent. But then the tires, you know, as soon as you get into any mud, it was stuck, you know. So then I'm like, you know what? If this dozer can push like this in the mud, imagine what an excavator can do, you know? And then, so then I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna buy an excavator. And I was like, okay, what size excavator do I want? And there are so many different sizes, and they have so many different uses, it's insane. So I'm thinking, okay, what do I need the excavator for the most? Like, what am I gonna use it for the most? Am I gonna be putting in, you know, utilities, or, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how to do utilities. I don't know how to do septic systems. I really don't know anything, right? But I'm thinking, okay, what's the easiest thing to get into in excavation? What's the easiest? That requires like no brains at all, no skill, no knowledge. And I'm thinking, clearing, that's the easiest thing. You don't got to worry about, you know, digging up power lines or digging up water lines, because it's raw land. You're not going to have to worry about anything, really. All you're doing is pushing over trees and digging them up, and you know, grabbing bushes and stuff, and just, you know, scraping everything flat. So I'm thinking, okay, this is the easiest thing to get into and the least amount of stress is clearing. I'm thinking, you know, pulling stumps out. Everybody wants to pull stumps out. Everybody hates stumps because they're ugly, you know. So I'm thinking, okay, that's what my target is. If I'm gonna buy an excavator, that's what I'm gonna use it for, to get my foot in the door in excavation, right? And then once I get it down and I learn how to operate good enough, then I can start, you know, gaining knowledge by watching other people, and then I can get into the other sides of excavation, right? And so I decided, like, okay, I have a tilt deck. It's a 20-ton tilt deck. The biggest machine I can get on that tilt deck legally is like a 120. So I'm thinking, okay, let's get a 120. The biggest machine you can get on that trailer, the best, like, multi-purpose, you know, for, you know, clearing and moving dirt, you know, is a 120. Like, they will move a lot amount of dirt. You know, a 200 would be great, but my trailer wouldn't pull a 200. My trailer's too small. So I decided a 120 is the size machine I want to get, right? And then I went and looked at some, and I looked at this one over. I drove like 3 hours over to Wenatchee no, it was past Wenatchee, to go look at this 120. And it was like a 2000, I think it was like a 2005 or 2010 or something. Go back and watch the live stream. And the thing was so bad. Oh my goodness. Like, I wouldn't even pay $7,000 for it now. Like, if I were to go back and offer that guy some cash for it, like just because I had cash to throw away, I'd say, you know, I'll buy that for $7,000. He was 120 or something like that. Not worth 20. No way. No way. Not worth 20. But anyways, I looked at that machine and I'm like, this is not the machine for me. No way. And I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos on looking at different things to look at, you know. And before you go buy an excavator, you need to know about undercarriages. Like, that is turntables. Like, you gotta know that kind of stuff before you go buying one. And so, you know, I watched a whole bunch of videos. I decided that wasn't the one I wanted. And then I found this excavator. You know, it was $10,000 more. It was older, but it was a lot more, it was well maintained. It wasn't beat to heck and back, you know. And you know, I bought it. The thing is amazing. Like, I've owned it for a full year now, just about. Yeah, I've owned it for a year now. And it's paid for itself easily. I wouldn't say it's really paid for itself in the jobs I've done with it, but here's how it's paid for itself for me. Experience and learning how to operate. Experience in, you know, operating and, you know, and fixing and maintaining a machine. And I'd say it's really close to paying itself off. It hasn't quite paid itself off, or maybe it has. I'd have to go back and look at all the revenue I've made with it, but I know it's really close. But the main reason I got into excavating was because I wanted to diversify my business. If you look at any major business or major corporation, what is the thing they all have in common? They monopolize everything. Like, think about it. Like, if you look at any major company, they excavate, they haul the dirt, they do everything. Like, every single step. They have their own yards. They have their own pits. They have everything, right? So if you want to be a major player, you got to get your hands in everything. You got to be the one-stop shop. I mean, and I was tired of all the drama that came along with all the dispatchers and, you know, oh, you can't work for this person because you're working for me, or we can't have your buddy on this job site because he works for this person. It's like, dude, this stuff is stupid. Like, let's just work, you know? So I was like, okay, what provides me with my work? Equipment, excavators, dozers, you know, they're the ones moving the dirt. So if I get one of those, then I'll be able to find my own work for my dump truck, right? And the other thing that I've learned is equipment, the profit from equipment is so much higher, just the profit. Because here's why: you're not burning so much fuel, you're not burning so much tires, you're not burning brakes up, you're not, you know, the main thing is the fuel. Excavators, I charge the same for my excavator as I do my dump truck, and it burns 1/10 of the amount of fuel that my dump truck burns. Is there more work for my dump truck? Right now I'm a small guy, so yes, it's easier for me to find dump truck work than it is excavation work. But when I do find the excavation work, a lot of times it involves my dump truck, so I get more work with the dump truck, you know, and that's just the way it goes, guys. I mean, it supplies me with more work. get out of here. Oh, let's go. Before I forget, better grab the GoPro. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing filming this too. So let's find a good spot to set this GoPro up. This is behind the scenes right here, guys. Let's see. Let me catch up on these comments now that I'm not driving. Let me go back to the beginning. Ooh, lots of comments here. All right. There we go. We got that camera. Okay. I'm going to have to end the live stream, guys. The internet is just cutting in and out. I think you can make it happen. It's going to be hard, Brad, because the smaller dump trucks, they don't make what the big dump trucks make. So, I mean, that's the main thing. Like, the more you haul, the more money you make. So, the way I won, the reason I did so well is because I got into the game really cheap with an old dump truck, and I made the same amount of money everybody was making with the brand new trucks. And I'm a real saver, so that's how I made it work. Now, the problem with the small dump truck is you're going to make a lot less. So, you can make it work, but it's just going to take you longer to get where you want to be, because you're not going to make the same amount of money. And especially if you're somewhere where the dump truck rate is a lot lower, you know, like out, if you're not close to a major city, you're going to get paid a lot less, you know, especially with the smaller dump truck. So that's where we're at. I'm going to let this excavator warm up a smidge. Let me catch back up on these attachments. You're close to Tennessee, Knoxville. Hey, I might be in Tennessee in a few weeks. My accountant's going over there, and she's going to celebrate a birthday, and we may be going down. Blake, 389 headlights, that would look good. That would look good. Let's see. Yeah, company politics, J Mac Daddy. Dude, company politics, man. That's one of the main reasons why I left working for somebody, because I was sick and tired of the company politics, man. Freaking hate company politics. You know, and that's another reason why I decided to quit that stuff. I was like, man, I can't. You know, he said, she said, and then next thing you know, you're getting written up for something that was over-exaggerated, you know? Let's see, if I set you guys right here, if I move really slowly, you guys will be able to watch me load my dump truck. Grab this thing up a little bit. Yeehaw! Yeah, buddy. You guys get to see me load this thing live. Pound that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are just watching. You haven't subscribed yet. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I shook the dirt off. Next time I won't shake the dirt off. I'll just go slow. The max weight I can haul with my truck legally, I think, is 56,000 pounds in the truck alone. And that's not hauling, you know, a trailer or whatever. I can license it for 105,500 in Washington. if I'm, you know, if I want to pay for the tags and stuff. Ooh, almost spilled that on the side. Another thing that's cool is about doing both excavation and dump trucking is it's so much more exciting, you know? You're not just stuck in a dump truck all day, you know, which it can get boring. You know, it can get boring. So, you know, I love operating. Now, a lot of people will charge, you know, for both machines. So you can make some serious money doing that. I don't really do that because it's just me. But if I had an employee, I'd be charging $240 an hour for this. You know, but it's just me, so I only charge $120 because I can only operate one machine at a time. Check out this pile of logs right there. Stumps. I mean, that's a big pile right there. I convinced them to burn them. So they're probably not going to end up burning them. I'll probably have to burn them for them. I didn't want to haul them to the landfill because I hate hauling stumps. I hate hauling stumps. Yeah, you guys get to see live. This is the 120 right here. I love the dump truck side of the business, you know, because it's so easy. Like, it's just like having a normal car, except for, you know, when it breaks, everything's 3 times more expensive. And so you run your excavation service, right? And a lot of times what happens is guys that own excavation companies, they don't have a dump truck. Number one, because you have to have a CDL to drive it. And most of them don't have a CDL, right? And then on top of that, trying to find a guy to hire to run your dump truck for you is a nightmare. You know, it's so hard to find guys that are, you know, reliable, that want to run your stuff for you. It's hard, man. That's how I get away with it, you know, because I have a CDL, you know. Just gonna load this baby up. Let's get one more scoop in there. now, angle you guys up a little bit. There you go. Now you can see. Push this down, smooth it out. You gotta be careful. You don't want to get too close to that doghouse. You don't want to dent that. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. You're going everywhere. Okay. There we go. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll set ourselves up. Get a nice scoop of dirt. We'll set ourselves up right about there. Now, this thing idle for a few seconds before we shut her off. That way, it's just better to do that, I've heard, you know, that way the turbo isn't, you know, got all that heat in it. So what do you guys think? I mean, that's a pretty sweet ride along right there. You guys get to, you know, reliable help is almost impossible to find in the tree work as well. They get their first check and then they're happy until they're broke and you won't see them until they get more money. Yeah, Brad, you got that right, man. Yeah, Brad. So, Brad, do you have an excavator? Do you got an excavator? If you have an excavator, man, these things are the best thing to have for tree work. Now, depending on the amount of tree work you do, would you determine, you know, the size of excavator. What size excavator do you got? Now, if you just did small residential, I'd say a 50 would be the perfect size, you know. Big enough that, you know, you can do, you know, a 35. That's what I would say, you know. Check that out, live stream. All right, let's hop back in the dump truck. Hopefully the internet doesn't start kicking out on me like it always seems to want to do. Alright. We're gonna have a video coming up any day now. A repair video. Door striker is shot. Let me just show it to you real quick. Like, it's just worn out. Like, I have to position it just right. See, it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't. It is so frustrating. We're getting a repair video on that one. I tried to repair it earlier, but sometimes she just doesn't want to shut. Tight that it does not shut all the way. There we go. Sometimes if the cab is tweaked a little bit, oh, it just doesn't, it's gonna be, you have to hit it with a torch or drill it out and retap it. It's just, I don't even want to think about it. I've just been putting it off and putting it off. It's just one of those things though. It's like more to latch all the way, you know? So, door off. You know, I'm trying to fix the dang thing. But, yeah. Be optimistic. That's kind of the message I wanted to share with you. You gotta be an optimistic. So on that note, I'm gonna sign off and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Please take the time if you subscribe for some reason. I don't know why. Like, we have the best content in the world, in the YouTube world, on dump trucks. So, you know, if you're interested in dump trucks, subscribe now. And, you know, we got everybody pounding that like button. Everybody pounds like button. We just got to get the people pounding that subscribe button now. But I will say this. The channel has grown exponentially. Like, we are almost to 1 million views, guys, on the channel. And, you know, we're growing at the rate of, like, about 150 to 200 subscribers per month right now. I mean, that's where we're at. Almost 200 subscribers per month for dailies. So, like, you guys are doing good. You guys are sharing these videos, and I appreciate that. And the channel would not grow without